Yo guys, check it out. We're watching a live stream right now. Joke doesn't really work because the water's not even streaming. It was when it rained a while, but you know, it's been dry for a bit, so now it's not streaming. So I'll probably just cut this from the video. Today, I want to address a question I get a lot on my channel, which is, Dave, is a college degree still worth it? Is a degree from my university still worth it? Is a degree in programming still worth it? I'm going to talk about programming specifically just because that's what I know, but I think this will apply to just like degrees and universities and just like college and higher learning in general. So, of course, to attack this question, I think the first thing we need to do is break it down and kind of make it more concrete and deal with some more specifics because it's kind of vague, kind of amorphous. There are two ways that people typically ask me this question, and it's always, Dave, is a college degree still worth it? And Dave, is a college degree useless? So some people ask it if it's worth it, sort of like a veiled, like positive tinge on it, whereas is it useless is sort of like a very upfront negative twist on it, but it's kind of fundamentally the same question. So we got to break it down into specifics. Like, is it worth it? Worth it for what? I think it depends on what your goals are. Because imagine this, like you're trying to figure out if you want to go pursue higher learning. You want to go to university, you want to go to college, you want to further your studies, maybe you want to learn computer science, you know, it's kind of a big field. Do you want to just learn more about it? Do you want to get a job in the field? Because my assumption is if you are going to learn this stuff in school, you probably want to get a job, right? Like maybe you like this stuff, maybe you like the subject matter, or maybe you like that it can pay pretty good salaries. But the question becomes like, what are you doing it for? Because to simply break it down, if your goal is to pursue like higher learning and just learn more about the stuff, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's worth it. There are a lot of schools out there. There are a lot of schools that cover computer science. There are schools that are really well known for it. And there are a lot of smart people working in academia that will teach you this stuff and you will learn a lot. But I think that a lot of the people that are asking this question, based on their comments and based on other things they've said, they're more concerned about the job market. They're more concerned about how can they use this degree to help get them a job and work in the field. So when it comes to that question, is it worth it? My answer is still yes, but not as emphatically yes as if you were just going for higher learning. Now, let me get my biases out there. I have a degree in this stuff. Like I went to college for it. I have a bachelor's degree. So like, that's just me getting my biases out there. I'm just letting you know that like, I do have a degree here and I did feel like it was worth it for me, both for higher learning and to help me get a job in the field. But I've worked with people that don't have degrees. They're some of the smartest people I've met. I've worked with people that do have degrees and they're not really, I sometimes wonder how they got that job. So the degree doesn't make or break it, but I have been on the other side of the interview process. Obviously, I've interviewed for jobs. I know what it's like to go through the interview process. I know when they're asking me questions about my schooling, when they're asking me questions about my previous employment, but I've been on the other side of the table where I'm the one giving the interviews. I can tell you from a personal standpoint, it doesn't matter to me if they have like a college degree or whatever, if they have one or not. I'll ask about it, not in a way where I'm like judgmental about it. I'm just curious, like, oh, I see that you kind of just jumped right into employment. I don't see any sort of like, you know, degree from a college or university. I can you talk about that? Like what happened? Did you just like get into IT and then transition to this kind of stuff? Because for a lot of people, that's like the case, and that's awesome. That's great. Because for me, when I'm interviewing people, I don't really care too much about that. I'm going to ask them specific questions, how they would design a system, how they would architect a system. This is my own experience here. I don't care if you have a piece of paper from a college that says, yes, you were able to get a degree. I'm just going to ask you questions about like systems design, and I'm going to see how you respond, see how you think, see how you problem solve, see what you know and see what you're familiar with. That's what's important to me. But I've seen other people that interview people and they're a little bit stricter when it comes to that. I don't love it. I don't think it's right. I voice my opinion where I'm like, who cares if they have a degree or not? I'd want to know if they can solve the problem, if they can do the job. This is where like my thoughts on this issue lie. If I were interviewing someone, I would view it as like a bonus if they had a degree in something, but I wouldn't view it as a negative if they didn't. That's how I personally did it. But, you know, I'm not the one out there interviewing everyone, okay? You don't really know who you're going to have interviewing you. You don't really know what kind of situation you're going to be or, you know, who you're up against or whatever. So in our modern era, there's a lot you can learn online. I know there are a lot of like online schools you can go to. There are a lot of boot camps. I put air quotes around it because I've just never done them myself. And from what I've seen from people, it seems like a lot of people find out you can make money by doing them. So there are a lot of low quality ones out there. That's my experience. I'm not throwing shade at anyone specifically. I've just seen, it seems like there is a lot of, you know, there's a lot of signal there's not a lot of signal and there's a lot of noise. The signal to noise ratio is off. There are a lot of low quality educational things out there, but I don't know if any of them are actually really good. And this is kind of a shame because I have friends out there that would like to learn to program, and they're like, Dave, how would you get started? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Oh, deer just ran back by there. That's cool. The answer is like, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer to give you. Like, I know there are coding boot camps out there. I know there are websites that do tutorials and stuff like that. Sure, I can point them to my Bash scripting course, but you kind of do need a little bit of like knowledge, at least with like some basics with programming to kind of follow along there. So I don't have a great answer to that. The only thing I can say is in my experience when I've been interviewing in places, it seems like the experience mattered more. So once I got 1, 2, 3 jobs removed from my education and it was just work experience, I don't even know if they even looked at my college degree when it came to like the last job I worked at. Like, it just didn't matter. It wasn't a big deal. It was more like, okay, cool, I see you have some experience in the field. Can you talk to me about that? Okay, let's imagine we have a system that looks like this. How would you architect it? When would you introduce microservices? When would you like want to break away from some sort of mono repo? Like, it really, I just get asked questions like that, and I'm like, okay, like these are sick, good questions, cool, easy. So if you're watching this video and you want me to tell you what you want to hear, you want me to be like, no, a college degree isn't worth it, you shouldn't do it, you're going to be totally fine without that, I can't do that, okay? I can't just blindly affirm what you want. If you're going into this video assuming I'm going to say something one way or the other, I can just give you my experience. Because people ask me this question, the only thing I can do is just tell you, here's my take on the situation, here's my experience. If I'm interviewing you at a company, right now I'm currently unemployed, pursuing content and hanging out in the woods like this, hanging out on my live stream. I'm sitting on a log right now, look at this thing. It was actually kind of scary because it slid down the tree when I sat down and I almost went in the water, so like, that would have been fun. So yeah, hey, if I'm the one interviewing you at the company, no, I'm not going to care about that. I'm just going to ask you technical questions and see what you're capable of. I take that like Unix philosophy seriously, which is like, let's just see if they can do the job. Like, we're hiring them to do the job. Let's make sure they can do the job. Not everyone shares my mentality. I don't know who's going to be interviewing you. The only thing I can say, and this is more general than just like a college degree or higher learning or anything like that in general, don't let a single interview dissuade you. So if you're looking for a job, if you've just gotten your degree or you haven't, but you're still trying to break into the field and you've had like a couple rejections, maybe you've actually interviewed someone in person or you've interviewed over Zoom or something and you've had like a bad experience, don't let that dissuade you. Now, if you've done like 30 interviews and you've had 30 bad experiences, you know that one friend who like complains like, oh, this person was a jerk to me, this person was a jerk to me, and then they keep telling you that keeps happening. It's like, listen, if you have one jerk come up to you, one jerk or two jerks come up to you, yeah, that makes sense. If everyone around you is a jerk, that's my only advice there. So if you find that you're constantly having bad situations, like when you're interviewing, if you constantly have bad experiences with that, maybe look inward a little bit and try to figure that out. But that's really not relevant. Like, I kind of got off topic there. It's not really like specific to like a degree or higher learning or anything like that. So yeah, to bring it back, I definitely think it's still worth it. I learned a lot when I was in college and when I was in university. The teachers I had really knew what they were doing. The professors were great, and it's fantastic. And if anything, it's just an environment where you can learn. It's an environment where you're free to learn this stuff and make mistakes and all that goes with it. Now we have a lot of great resources on the internet. The access to information almost seems like that's not the problem anymore. Now it's your drive. Are you willing to learn this stuff? So really, when it comes down to it, I'm going to say this. If you're applying for a job, whether you have a degree or not matters to the person who is interviewing you and to the place that you're applying to. If you're working for a place that's strict on you having a degree and you don't have one, maybe don't try to apply there, like as simple as that. I'm just being pragmatic about it, like actually trying to give helpful advice now. In my experience, if you interview at 50 places and 49 of them reject you, but one of them lets you in, then congratulations, you got a job. Doesn't matter that you had 49 rejections, you have a job now. You get to put that on your resume, you have that as your employment status, and like I said, in my experience, the further I get away from my education, the further I get away from my college degree, the less people ask about it, the less people seem to care about it. So yeah, that's my take on it. Those are my thoughts on it. Hopefully that answers that question for you. Of course, since we're chilling out in the woods, I got to give a special thanks to my patrons over at Patreon. Check it out over here. You want your name at the end of one of my videos, go sign up for my Patreon. You get your name at the end of one of my videos. If you find a way to break it, you find a way to put color in your name or put a bunch of zero width spaces, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I actually kind of like that it breaks the terminal out, but I think that's fun. I encourage you guys to try your best to hack me through your Patreon names because, yeah, so far Patreon allows anti-escape sequences in their name, so that's wild, and I don't do any filtering. So, yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See ya. Hey guys, Editing Dave here. It's 1 a.m. I'm in bed. I have my laptop. I'm adding the Patreon shoutouts to this video. And first it was Dark Space with 0 width spaces that actually showed up as spaces, which is hilarious. Then it was Jordan colorizing that output. That was beautiful. Kieran, that's incredible. I had no idea what happened. I thought something broke with my terminal. I was like, what happened here? I had to look into it. It was a OSC 1337 command. It might only work on iTerm 2. I don't know what other terminal it's supported on. You requested attention with fireworks? That is, I had no idea that was a thing. That's incredible. I have no intention of changing that. I think that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. You guys are hilarious for finding ways of breaking the script. I think it's amazing. My audience is incredible. Should I dedicate long form videos showing people how to do this? I don't know if Patreon's going to like me if I keep showing people how to put anti-escape sequences into their names, but this is hilarious. You guys are awesome, dude. My community, my audience is awesome. You guys are hilarious.